Hello, hello. This is Paulo Arias with International Relocation Partner, and this is a new class, a new free class every Wednesday at 3:30. We get together with our Professor Wagner from We Speak Spanish, and today is here we have Jeremy Free from Costa Rica, Expat Insiders, to introduce the class. This has been the sixth class. Yeah, no, class number six. Jeremy, say hi.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Wagner's going to get you speaking Spanish in no time.
I mean, I don't know if no time is a good thing. I think we should enjoy the process. We all should enjoy if you're living abroad, wanted to learn a new language. There's a lot of benefits to it.
Oh, yeah.
You can get here, get by easily, understand the local jokes, the culture, maybe get a girlfriend. So they speak Spanish. Yeah. So
I was
think
nodding my head to everything. I had to stop on that one.
no. You're Jeremy. I'm gonna tell
Be
you.
a spokesman.
I'm gonna tell Nicole. Jeremy. By the way, Jeremy he's married. He's such a handsome, North Carolinian gentleman here, but he's already engaged. You can grab Nicole. She can say hi. So
She's in
with
their
this brief
warehouse.
introduction, I want you guys to meet Jeremy. Jeremy is one of our expert leaders. He's happy to support what we're doing here, and basically what we are connecting with all of the leaders. We're getting all of the expat admin groups to support what we're doing, help other expats, newcomers, and investors to learn more about Costa Rica, to learn Spanish. We are helping people understand better what they're doing. TheExpatCommunity.com is a platform with information that is free and resources. Our new book is coming very soon. It's going to be about 3 more months before it's ready, but that's going to be a new resource that is going to be very inexpensive, less than $20 for a book, and that's going to be sold in Amazon. And the money from that, we're gonna donate that money to good causes here in Costa Rica to collaborate with the local communities. So I think we're doing a great thing, providing a lot of value. Thank you, Professor Wagner, for this class. It's just offering a free class. I mean, I think it's amazing. And we're also doing meetups. The first meetup, by the way, Warner, so you're invited. Jeremy, you're also invited. It's gonna be in Tamarindo. This is gonna be in the surf. It's called the Surf Shack. The Surf Shack is a restaurant that is walking distance from the ocean in Tamarindo. Basically, gonna be close enough to look at the sunset at 4:30 in Tamarindo with live music. We're gonna throw in some courtesy drinks for the first people that gets to the activity, and I think it's gonna be amazing. One of the first meetups from the expat community. So the point here is to create as much value as possible for our community. And thank you so much. Before anything else, we're gonna want to show you on the screen some of our leaders and sponsors and the people who is making this possible, including Jeremy and We Speak Spanish Language School. And with that, I say bye. And I'll let you, Warner, with the class.
Perfect.
Thanks, Mark.
Hello, hello, everybody. How are you? ¿Cómo están? Pura vida. Thank you. One more week here with all of you in our class. So this is, wow, this is amazing. This is our class number 6. So if today it's your first time here, I want to tell you that in the last 5 sessions, basically, with what we were speaking, it's about the basic concepts that I like that all my students, they manage before to start to speak or learn the language. Why this? So I like to do this because definitely between Spanish and English, so we have some things that are similar, but also we have other things that it's important to know the difference of that. Okay? Let me do before to start with our class today, let me do a small review about what we studied in our last 5 sessions. um, okay, let me go to my screen. Meanwhile, if you are connected in the session, I want to see your messages. I want to know where are you watching this video. If you are in Costa Rica, if you are in Panama, or if you are in, I don't know, Mexico, Portugal, Spain, Mexico, where are you? ¿Dónde están? Okay, let me go here. Okay, now you can see my screen. Okay, let's do a small review about what we studied in our past sessions. The first day, what we studied was about what it's a noun. Okay, remember, ¿qué es un sustantivo? In that session, basically what we studied was that, of course, we have a nouns in Spanish, we have nouns in English, but in English, normally the nouns, they have only one characteristic. Not talking about the object, it's not grammatically. What we can say is like in English, the nouns, they are or singular or plural. So you can say the car or you can say the cars. You can say the house or you can say the houses. Okay, that is in English. However, in Spanish, remember that our nouns, we have two characteristics. One is talking about the number, singular or plural, and the other one is talking about the gender, masculine or feminine. Okay, so this is one of the differences between the nouns in English and the nouns in Spanish. Yeah, and that is one of the things. Wagner, so but now when we speak Spanish, we need to think about if this is masculine or if this is feminine. Yes, we need to do that. And it is a process. So remember that always I said that learn a language, learn Spanish, it is a process. This is something that you will get when you practice, when you study. So this is something that you will get in the process of your learning process. Okay. The second element that we saw, or the second particle that we saw, it was the article. So remember, ¿qué es un artículo? What is an article? ¿Qué es un artículo? So basically, in this case, we can say that the article is the particle that accompanies the noun. In English, you use the. However, in Spanish, we have for. Wagner, why for? Because remember that our nouns, they could be masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. So we will use one different article, depends the situation. So in that case, let me increase my screen. Remember this. So when you use the in English, we use en español. If it's masculine and singular, we will say el. If it's feminine and singular, we will say la. If it's masculine and plural, we will say los. If it's feminine and plural, we will say las. Okay? But also we have another group that they are also articles. But in this case, these articles, they are more in general. So this is when you use in English a or an or some. Like when you say a car, an apple, a house, an eagle, okay? Or when you say some cars, some houses, some kids. In our case, we use exactly the same. We use the masculine and feminine, singular and plural. Una, unos, or unas. Okay, do you remember all this? Yeah, because we saw this in the past classes. The particle number 3, or the concept number 3 that I studied with you was the adjective. So remember, noun, article, and now the adjective. What is the adjective? Okay, the adjective basically it's the particle that describes the nouns. Okay, in English, one adjective is, for example, small. So you use only one form in English. So you say a small car, or you say a small cars, you say a small house, or you say a small houses. You use exactly the same form. However, in Spanish, remember that we use four: singular and masculine, singular and feminine, plural, masculine, plural, feminine. So that is why when you say a small car, we say carro pequeño. When you say small cars, we say carros pequeños. A small house, casa pequeña. A small houses, casas pequeñas. So we use four. When you in English, you use one. And remember one more characteristic or one more situation with the adjective. One of the situations is that we use a different position that how you use it in English. So when you say the small car, we say the car is small. When you say big house, we say house big. So always the adjective goes after the noun. And one more situation with the adjectives is like sometimes or sometimes no, that also our adjectives they could be neutral. So some of the adjectives they could be neutral. For example, I gave you some examples here. For example, blue. If you see in Espanol, azul, it's one adjective that the ending is with L. So we don't know if it's masculine or if it's feminine. So the truth is neutral. This adjective is neutral. When you use a noun masculine, immediately this adjective will adopt the characteristic of the noun. It will be masculine. If you use a feminine noun, immediately this adjective will adopt the gender of the noun. So, azul per se, it is neutral. But if you say the blue car, el carro azul, in this moment, blue, it will be masculine because we are using car and car is masculine. If you say the blue house, in this case, house is feminine. So the adjective, it will be feminine. Okay? And last week, we saw about what we studied was about the verb. So I remember I told you, for me, the most important part in one sentence is the verb. How many verbs do we have in Spanish? Probably 15,000 plus, because every day we have new verbs. Okay? Concepts about the verb that we studied last week. Remember, a verb, it's an action. So we use thousands of actions during the day. Okay? But we studied basically four concepts that I want to check with you now again. The concept number one is what is an infinitive verb. What is an infinitive verb? ¿Qué es un verbo infinitivo? So let me tell you that the infinitive verb, or it's the basic form of the verb. So, Wagner, but how it's possible? How I can identify an infinitive verb in English? That is when you see the form of to walk, for example, to eat, to go up, to call, to drink, to share, to buy, to run, to receive. All these verbs that I read, they are in the infinitive form. Wagner, it's the verb walking an infinitive verb? No. Walking is one of the verbs, but it's not in the infinitive form, because the verb in the infinitive form, it should be to walk. Okay? So remember, that was the first concept. What is an infinitive verb? Okay, Wagner, wait a moment. But how I can identify them in Spanish? Very good question. So in English, you will identify them with the use of to walk, to buy, to pay, to study. But in Spanish, you need to pay attention to the ending. So see the example here. For example, when you say in English to walk, en español it will be caminar. To eat, comer. To go up, subir. If you see here, we are using three different endings: AR, ER, IR. Three more examples: to call, to drink, to share. En Spanish, llamar, beber, compartir. One more time, you can see three different endings: AR, ER, and IR. Three more examples: to buy, comprar, to run, correr, to receive, recibir. One more time, you can see three different endings: AR, ER, and IR. If you see a word with a different ending, is not going to be a verb. Why not? Because we use only three endings: AR, ER, and IR. Okay. So Wagner, and now what is a conjugated verb? So infinitive verb, but now what is the concept of conjugated verb? The conjugated verb is when we modify the original verb. So remember when you told me walking, there it's conjugated, because we are not using, or we are modifying the infinitive form of the verb. So, okay, so the infinitive verb is when we use the basic form. Conjugated verb is when we modify the original form of the verb. Yes, that's correct. Okay, but now, Wagner, how I can modify, what I need to do if I want to modify the original form of the verb. So last week we saw that we have two components. So we have two elements. This is the information that we should know if you want to conjugate a verb. Number one is when the action is happening. And this is exactly the same in English. If you want to conjugate in English the verb to eat, because if it's in the present, you will say I eat. But if it's in the past, you will say I ate. So you need to know first if you are speaking in present, past, or future. It's exactly the same in Spanish. So we need to know when the action is happening. And the second element that we should know is who's doing the action. Because if it's I need to say I eat. But it is he, you need to say he eats. This information modifies the original form of the verb. So let me go here. Okay. That is exactly the information that we need to know. So, and we saw this, and I want to recall this. Remember, in English, you use 7 personal pronouns: I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. But in Spanish, we use more. And here you can see the list. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted. Nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, but in Latin American, we are not going to study this. Ellos, ellas, ustedes, and finally, we have vos. We saw also that yo means I, tú means you, and this you, it's informal. Él is he, ella is she, usted. In this case, usted is you formal. Wagner, wait a moment, but you are not using it. Yes, you are right. Why we don't use it? Because in Spanish, we have gender. We have masculine or feminine. In English, you use it because you don't have masculine or feminine. Okay? Very good question. Let's continue. Usted, in that case, it's you formal. The next one, nosotros, this will be we male or we group mix. Nosotras, only girls. We female. Ellos, this is they male, they male or they mixed group. We have ellas, this is they female. There's a mistake here. I put they male, but it's they female. And we have ustedes. Ustedes is you all. Okay. Finally, Wagner, but I don't remember the meaning of vos. Vos is also you, but it's the you informal that we use in Costa Rica. Okay. So these are the personal pronouns that we use in Spanish. Okay. Wagner, so that means like when I will learn how to conjugate the verbs, I need to use all these personal pronouns? Yes, we need to use all these personal pronouns to conjugate the verb. If it's in the present, yes. If it's in the past, yes. If it's in the future, yes. But like a Spanish teacher, remember, I am not going to pretend that you learn all the conjugations in 1 week. No, that is not, well, it could be possible, but that is not the way that how I like that my students, they learn. Remember, this is a process. So, but this process, it should be every day. So if you try to practice the conjugation of the verbs every day, so that is the best way to learn this. Remember, in some minutes, I will show I will show you my website where you can go and see material that we have there that you can use to practice your conjugations. Okay? Good. Okay, I told you that we will check for concepts and we already checked 2, but we have 2 more concepts. The other concept is about what is the root of the verb and what is the ending of the verb. So every verb has 2 parts. We already know that the ending is the vowel and the consonant or the R. So R, air, ear. That is the ending. So that means that the rest of the verb, that it's the root. For example, with this, the verbo comer, to eat. In blue, you can see the root, and pink, you can see the ending. And remember, I told you there is only one verb in Spanish that it's only ending, no root. But the rest of the verbs, all of them, it's possible for you to identify the root and the ending. Okay? So, and today we will go to the last particle that I want to check with you. Okay? Why I was doing this review? Because maybe today is your first class. If you want to see, if you want to watch the complete class, you can go to our YouTube channel. There you will find the 6 different programs that we had plus today, and you can check everything with more details. Okay, the last particle that we will study today, because in our next class we will start the class directly that how you can make sentences in Spanish. And remember, this is one of the situations that many of my students, they they probably told me always, Wagner, I have a lot of content in my brain. Wagner, I learn a lot of vocabulary, but the problem is I don't know how to make sentences. I don't know where I should put the information with the idea that the people understand me. This is exactly what we will start next class or our next session. Okay, with the idea to end our session today, we will go to the last particle, and in this case what we will talk is about the adverb. What is an adverb? Okay, what is an adverb? ¿Qué es un adverbio? To say so, the adverb is one particle, and the function of this particle is to describe the verb. Remember the function of the adjective. The function of the adjective is to describe the noun, but the function of the adverb is to describe the action. Okay, let me give you here some examples. Here we have in Spanish despacio. Here we have rápido. We have mucho. We have poco. ¿Qué significa despacio? What is the meaning of despacio? That is slowly. Rápido, fast. Mucho, a lot. Poco, few. Little. So let me raise these examples, and I want to create with you new examples. So let me use Pablo. I can say this. Pablo come despacio. And now I remember. Maybe you are one of the students that say despacio. It is not despacio. That it looks like Italian, but it's not Italian. Despacio. Okay? Pablo come despacio. Wagner, how I know that I am talking about the action? Because the truth is not, I am not saying that Pablo is slowly. No, I am saying that Pablo eats slowly. So I am describing the action. Pablo come despacio. It is Pablo eats slowly. If you see, the function in this case of the adverb is to describe the action. Okay. Andrés corre rápido. Andrés corre rápido. What I am saying is Andrés runs fast. I am not saying that Andrés is fast. What I am saying is that he runs fast. I am describing the verb. Wagner habla mucho todos los días. You know the meaning of this? Wagner speaks a lot every day. Yeah, and that is true because I teach 10 or 12 hours per day. I usually speak a lot. What I am doing in this sentence is describing the action. Habla mucho. Wagner speaks a lot every day. I am not saying Wagner eats a lot. No, Wagner speaks a lot. Okay? Those are the adverbs. Okay? Let me give you one more example. Majo, Majo, MJ, my daughter. Majo duerme mucho. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me use poco. Majo duerme poco. What's the meaning of that? That she sleeps only few hours during the day. Okay? So, today, our class today, the idea was to do a small review, a fast review about all the particles that I like that my students, they use correctly before to start to build sentences in Spanish. Remember the noun, the article, the adjective, the verb, and today, the adverb. If you want, remember, if you want to check all the content, go to the site, go to our website, go to the YouTube channel, and you can find all the videos there. Next week, we will start the class with the topic how can I make sentences in Spanish. ¿Cómo puedo hacer oraciones en español? Remember, we will follow the 5-finger system. Do you want to learn that? I want to see you next week here at the same time. Thank you. Muchísimas gracias, and I will see you next week.